Come watch me make birria tacos with pantry leftovers for the first time. Now, when I Googled what kind of meat to use, chuck is a cut of beef that is frequently used for these tacos. So we had six with our cow, and I pulled some out and got to cutting because they had long bones running through them that would not fit in the pan that I had designated. So I cut them up. I seasoned them and then added some butter to a pan and got the browning. Now, beef and stew was an experiment, but these birria tacos have been on my radar for a long time and I have wanted to make them forever, but for one reason or another, never got around to it. With our cow came 6 chuck steaks, so when I realized that chuck could be used for these, I was excited about trying it. However, I did not feel like going to the grocery store, and there were a couple of ingredients in the traditional recipe that I didn't have access to. So I kind of just decided to go with whatever was left over in my pantry. I cut up and sauteed some garlic and onions, added that to the meat. I added some beef broth, some taco seasoning, some cayenne pepper, some red pepper flakes. I added the juice of some fire roasted diced tomatoes, and then I added a couple spoonfuls of the tomatoes. I then added some leftover chili that we had because it had paprika, and then I added some cilantro, and that was it. I thought that these seasonings would give me the flavor profile that I expected to get from this recipe, so I was okay with just making it work. I set the timer for 3 hours and 30 minutes. And then 2 hours later, I checked on the meat to see what it was looking like. I used 2 forks to kind of pull apart and see how tender things were getting, and it was coming along quite nicely, but I wanted to let it cook for the rest of the timer. So 1 year later, just kidding, an hour and a half later, this is what the meat was looking like after I continued to pull apart with the 2 forks the way I had at the 2 hour mark. Once I moved it into a container, this was looking really amazing. I then dipped the corn tortillas in the consomme to fry them. This was kind of a disaster because it was sticking and I was tired at this point, so I did my best to fry the tacos. I added cheese, fried them on both sides, and honestly, they came out pretty decent for me being exhausted. And truthfully, I was super impressed with how they came out despite sticking to the pan. They were so delicious and the meat was amazing. I used the leftovers for breakfast tacos, and I'll be honest, I had to spin the block a couple days later to make some more because they were so addicting and fire. A milli out of 10 recommend. The moral of the story is try new things. Pull out those recipes that you have stashed away in a save folder somewhere, even if you have to improvise.